Hey there, Heather, hello there, it's Jeff Cutter Diver. Welcome you to the bottom four of the worst on worst as both as these four teams have not won a playoff series. They've been to two worst on worst series and lost both their series, so they'll have to play till they win. We have the 65 Bruins taking on the 68 Seals and the 75 Capitals against the 91 Nordiques. We will be auto playing till it hurts, and then we will get to worst on worst. Like, we have four teams left in that thing to discern who's the best of the worst. Game 1 of Boston Oakland sees Oakland win 2-0. Charlie Hodge with a shutout on Ed Johnston. Larry Cahan and Bill Hicks going for the Seals. Meanwhile, Quebec in overtime beats Washington as Tugnut beats Belhumeur. Quebec goals in regulation by Sakic, and Falashchuk. Washington goes by Nelson Pyatt, Mike Morrison, and Stan Gilbertson. At 15:09, Sakic completes a hat trick from Hurkacz and Stephen. It's weird how good Sakic was for crappy Quebec teams. Game 2 saw Washington win 5-2 as Lowe beats Jacques Luce. Quebec goals by Stéphane Morin and Joe Sakic again. Bill Lysek with a hat trick. Tommy Williams and Stan Gilbertson with the goals there. Boston won 4-2 as Johnston beats Charlie Hodge. Oakland goals by Erickson and Swarbrick. Boston goals by Dean Prentice, Bobby Nitz, Johnny Bushek, Red Fleming. Game 3 sees Oakland win on home turf as Gary Suitcase Smith beat X Johnston. Boston goes by Tommy Williams, Reg Fleming, and Williams again. Oakland goes by Jerry Amon, Swarbeck, Willie Boyer, and Larry Papain. Meanwhile, Washington beat Quebec 3-2 as Belhumeur beats Cluche. Quebec goes by Mario Fermet and Joe Sakic. Man, he's looking good, Sakic. But Lysek his fourth goal. Williams and Morrison both their seconds, so Washington up 2-1. Game 4 saw Quebec win 4-3 as Tugnut beats Belhumeur. Washington goes by Brooks, Pyatt, and Williams. Tommy's third. Hurkacz his first goal, then Sakic, Sundin. Finally, Matt Sundin pops it up. Sakic putting up 7 goals in 4 games in that series. It's 2-2. The other series will see Boston win 3-2 in overtime. Ed Johnston beats Hodge. Boston goes in regulation by Johnny Busick and Adam McDonald. Jerry Amon and Brian Baum scoring for Oakland. And then in overtime, Nibs at 4:36 from Green and Oliver. And then autoplay. Game 5 saw Boston win 5-3 as Johnston beats Suitcase Smith. Oakland goes by Swarbrick, Billy Harris, and Larry Cahan. Boston goes by Ted Green, Bob Leiter, Reg Fleming, Ted Green again, and then Wayne Rivers. So Boston looks like they're going to put Oakland in the final 2, whereas Washington is up 3-2 as Ron Lowe beats Ron Tugnut. Quebec goes by Joe Sakic, his 8th. Guy Lafleur final scoring goal, and Stéphane Morin. Washington goes by Ace Bailey, the guy who died in 9/11, not the Toronto legend. Doug Moens, Bill Cowick, and then Bailey again. So Washington wins 4-3. 91 Nordiques look bad. Sakic has 8 goals in 5 games, and yet he can't put it in. Game 6s sees Oakland win 6-1 for Game 7 as Hodge beats Johnston. Only Boston goal was by Adam McDonald. Oakland goals Amon his 3rd, then Harris his 2nd, Swarbeck his 4th, Hampson with 2 to make it 1-2, and then Amon his 4th. Oakland forces Game 7, whereas Quebec will force a Game 7 4-3 as Tugnut beats Belhumeur. Washington goals by Anderson, Pyatt, and Lalonde. Quebec goals by Stéphane Morin his 3rd, Matt Sundin his 2nd, Everett Sanipass, and Tony Hurkacz. So Quebec wins and forces Game 7. 2 Game 7s, 1, 2, 3. And it will be a Oakland win 5-2 as Gary Suitcase Smith beats Jack Norris in Boston. The 65 Bruins, the oldest team in the competition, will be in the last 2 to be knocked out as Boston Nitzgorf, Reg Fleming, and Wayne Maxner. But Oakland goes by Odrowski with the hat trick, Caron, and Hampson as Oakland shocks Boston The 65 Bruins actually were up 3-1 on the 91 Leafs in the first round of the worst on worst, and had a chance to win that series and put the 91 Leafs into the bottom rung in the relegation zone, but they can't. So the 65 Bruins are in deep trouble. And they will face off against the 75 Capitals, who failed again. Tugna beats Bellhumor. The 91 Nordiques avoid the bottom two. It's the 65 Bruins and the 75 Capitals. Washington, I think for the second time, had a 3-2 series lead and a chance to get out of this mess. But they couldn't. Washington did score. Marson his third, Marson his fourth, and Cowick his second. Quebec goals, Joe Sakic his ninth, Brian Fogarty his first, Matt Sundin his third, Sean Anderson his first, and then Sakic his 10th. So Sakic scoring 10 goals in 7 games for Quebec. Basically, he's the reason why Quebec did so. I wonder how many goals Quebec had. Yeah, they won't tell us. Well, Sakic got 10. Sundin, Morin, Hurkacz, that's 8. Lafleur and Fogarty 10, 4. So 14 goals were scored by Quebec players not named Joe Sakic. And Sakic scored 10. Look at the points. 17 points. He had the most assists too with 7. Hurkacz with 4. So Quebec and Oakland. We're just gonna play this out. And Oakland won Game 7 against Quebec. So Oakland technically would have been the 4th last team. Quebec would have been 3rd last. Thanks to Smith beating Tugnut and all of that. Sakic would score 3 goals against the 68 members and all of that. Hodge and Smith basically were a 2-headed horse. Billy Harris had 7 for Oakland. George Swarbrick with 6. Sundin and Moran and Scott Pearson with 5. There's Scott Pearson. Yep. The points raised 29 by Sakic, Eamon at 14. Wow. Sakic put up 29 points in 14 games. So let's just get out of this. We're going to delete that and go to new playoffs. Relegation. So we'll do relegation, worst on worst. 65. The 65 Bruins, because they're the better team, will get the home game against Washington. It must be between 2 and 32 teams. Oh, I can't put a thing. Yeah. So yeah, so 7-game playoff to see who the worst of the worst is, the 65 Bruins or the 75 Capitals. Game 1 was Boston winning 6-1 as Eddie Johnston beats Ron Lowe. Washington, Mike Marson scored the only goal. Boston, Ab McDonald, Forbes Kennedy, Eddie Westfall, Brad Wojtowicz, Wayne Maxner, and Tommy Williams. So 6. What? Is it Tommy Williams? Yeah, Tommy Williams, the guy for Washington. He's playing for both teams. Game 2 sees Boston win 5-1 as Jack Norris beats Bellhumor. Washington only goal was by Atkinson. Boston goes by Whitwich, his second. Reg Fleming his first. Murray Oliver his first. Tommy Williams his second, and then Ted Green his first. Game 3 saw Boston win 5-2 as Johnston beats Lowe. Atkinson and Tommy Williams for Washington. Ronnie Schock scored for Boston. Ed Westfall, Dean Prentice, Tommy Williams, and Wayne Maxner. So 5-2. Looks like this will be a sweep. And no. Washington somehow wins 7-3. Ron Lowe beats Eddie Johnston. Boston had 2-0 lead. Dean Prentice with a pair of goals, and it looked like Boston was going to put the 75 Washington Capitals on ice and make them the worst team ever. Washington 4 straight goals. Nicholson, Marson, Williams, and Lezek. Boston got Reg Fleming, then Gilbertson, Grip, and Tommy Williams. 3-1. And there we go, 4-1. Eddie Johnston with the shutout as Dean Prentice, Johnny Busick, Murray Oliver, and Nibs all score. And Washington, the 75 Capitals, twice had a chance to beat an opponent and stay out of the relegation battle, but they couldn't, and they pay the price. Boston just squeezed them out, and the 75 Capitals are indeed the worst of the worst. I mean, you blow 2 opportunities. Goals, Dean Prentice with 4. Tommy Williams scored 6 goals with the two teams combined, so you know that it was going to happen that way. Bill Nibs. Bob Grip. Okay, so that's just... Yeah, we're just going to delete that. And then go worst on worst. The final four is the 06 Blues, who ended up getting the #1 draft pick to get Erik Johnson against the 2012 Columbus Blue Jackets, who were the worst team in 2012, but they lost the draft lottery to Edmonton. The 94 Senators, who ruined Alex Daig's rookie year by being so shit, but they didn't get the #1 pick. That was Florida. And the 06 Penguins, who wasted Crosby's first year in the league. So anyway, bracket-wise, St. Louis, they were ranked number 3 randomly. They took care of the 75 Scouts in 4 and took down the 2022 Habs in 5, the year after they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they just shit the bed. Columbus, they were the 15th seed. They weren't expected to beat the 91 Nordiques, but they did in 7 games, although Quebec gave them a 7-game set. And then they took care of the 71 Seals in 4, just to get this far. How did Columbus do it? Quebec was up 3-2. Columbus has won 6 in a row. The 06 Penguins were the 5 seed. They had to go to Game 7 against the 2012 Oilers. And then they took care of their 84 brethren, the Penguins, the team before Mario came. And the 94 Senators, so the 4 seed, they needed Game 7 against the 68 Seals. Of course, that was the team that played in the bottom 4. And then they beat the 91 Leafs in 5, making them terrible. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's autoplay. Game 1 saw St. Louis win 4-2 as Jason Bakashawa beats Curtis Sanford. Blues goals by Peter Changanek, Scott Young, Leap Stagniak, and Vladdy Ozersog. Columbus goals by RJ Umberger and Ryan Johansson. And Ottawa had to win in overtime 6-5. Craig Billington beats Marc-Andre Fleury. Pittsburgh goals in regulation by Sergei Gonchar, Colby Armstrong, Konstantin Koltsov. Sidney Crosby is 14th, and Gonchar. Ottawa goes by Brian Glynn, Darren Rumble, Dan Quinn, Evgeny Davidoff, and Alex Yashin. But in overtime at 13-12, Burakovsky from Dunedin and Millette, Gord Dunedin and Troy Millette. Burakovsky scoring the winning goal. Game 2 in Ottawa saw them lose 4-2 as Fleury beat Billington. Ottawa got goals by Rumble, his 2nd, and Daig his 9th. Pittsburgh goals, Crosby is 15th, Gonchar is 5th, Crosby is 16th, and Gonchar is 6th. So Crosby's been scoring left, right, and center in this tournament. And St. Louis won 5-1 as Bakashawa beat Sanford. Columbus' only goal was Ryan Johansson, his 7th. Dennis Wideman, Jamal Mayers, Mark Rycroft, Lee Stepniak, and Jay Clement scoring for the Blues. Game 3 sees Columbus win 4-2 as Sanford beats Davis, so St. Louis won with another goalie. Columbus goes by Derek Brassard, Rick Nash is 13th, Ryan Johansson, and Derek Dorsett. St. Louis goes by Stepniak and Keith Kuchek. Game 3 in Pittsburgh saw Pittsburgh win 5-3 on Fleury beating Billington. Ottawa goes by Alex Vegas 10th and 11th, and Kekkalainen scoring goal. Pittsburgh goes by Lasse Prigia, Ryan Malone, Thomas Aravi, Siggy Palffy, and Ryan Malone his 2nd of the night. 5-3. Game 4 sees Pittsburgh win 5-4 as Fleury beats Billington. Ottawa goes by Davidoff, his 2nd, McElwain his 10th, McBain his 3rd, and Burakovsky his 2nd. Pittsburgh goes Gonchar his 7th, Palffy his 7th, Malone his 6th, Crosby his 17th, and Whitney his 2nd. Ryan Whitney, that is. In Game 4, Columbus beats St. Louis 2-0. Sanford beats Bakashawa, Letestu, and Johansson with the goals, so that series is 2-2. Game 5 sees St. Louis with the shutout. Curtis Sanford and Son with the shutout of Steve Mason. Finally, Kitchener's own Steve Mason gets a chance to play. But St. Louis gets a McClement, Dahlman, and Kachuk. Where did Columbus go with? Oh yeah, Sanford and Son. Will Pittsburgh go to the final? The answer is yes. 5-3 as Fleury beats Darren Madley, and then 06 Penguins take care of the 94 Senators. Maxime Ouellette, Sandy Crosby, Ouellette, Ryan Whitney and Ryan Malone scoring for Pittsburgh. Yash, Crosby scoring 18 goals. Ottawa goals by Alex Yashin, Andrew McBain, and Sylvain Petterjean. So the 91st Senators, Sanan, they're out. Billington 7-5, Manley 1-2, Love 4A 1-1, but you know Billington was man. Points wise, Yashin had 30 points. Dag with 18, McIlwain with 18. So you see how Ottawa did. Alex Dag with 11 goals, Dave McIlwain with 10, Alex Yashin with 6. Yashin had 24 assists. Look at this. He had as many assists as Turgeon, Dineen, and well, more than Turgeon, Dineen, and Andrew McBain combined. Look at this. He had 24 assists. The 06 Penguins are still in the 5 seed. Marc-Andre Fleury 7-1. Justin Thibault 3-1. Caron 2-4. So I guess Fleury's taking over in the net. They had to go to 7, then 6-5. Crosby's got 37 points, 18 goals, and 19 assists. He's crushing the goals by 11. He has more goals than Ryan Malone, Sergei Gonchar, and Ryan Whitney combined. Assists he has 19. Second best is 11 assists. So Crosby's just a one-man freaking game. Will St. Louis go to the final? The answer is yes, they will. 3-1 as Bakashawa beats Steve Mason, and the 06 Blues will get a redemption song. Scott Young with 2 goals. Ryan Johnson scored for him. Mark Defoe finally scores for Columbus, but St. Louis will be going to the final. A big final for them. Columbus, the 15th seed. Mason 6-3. Sanford 3-4. Ellen York played 1 game. Should have put him more. Nash with 19 points, 17 by Broussard. Nash with 13 goals, so he had the goals. Broussard and Nikitin had the assists with 11 each. And finally, the 06 Blues. Well, the 06 Blues are moving on. Curtis Sanford 5-0, Bakashawa 3-1, Patrick Lalime 4-0, Ryan Divas 0-2. They've only lost 3 times. Unbelievable in 3 rounds. And Sanford and Lalime are combined 9-0. So what is going on through them? Scott Young with 20 points, 10 goals, 10 assists. He leads in those marks. So let's go to the final. Let's finish this freaking thing up. Game 1 sees St. Louis win 2-1. Bakashawa beats Caron. St. Louis scored the first 2 goals. Keith Tkachuk his 7th. Eric Brewer his 3rd. John Leclair his 6th for Pittsburgh. I keep forgetting Leclair played for Pittsburgh. Game 2 saw St. Louis win again as Sanford beats Thibault. Pittsburgh kept it close, but, well, John Leclair has 7th, Ryan Malone is 8th, Sergei Gonchar is 8th, and then Gonchar is 9th. But St. Louis goes Vladdy Ursak is 4th, Keith Tkachuk is 8th, Scott Young is 11th, Peter Chayanek is 4th, Hugan is 1st, McClement is 4th, and then they have United by Scott Young. So the Blues are halfway home. Game 3 sees Pittsburgh win on home turf as Sanford finally loses as Thibault is the hero. Blues were up 2-0. Simon Gamache and Scott Young had scored, and it looked like St. Louis was going to look for their back-to-back sweep. Pittsburgh chipped away. Thomas Sarovi is 5th, Crosby is 19th, then Crosby again scored, and John Leclair is 8th. So Crosby has 20 goals in this playoff series. Game 4 sees Pittsburgh win again, 4-3, as Fleury beats Bakashawa. Pittsburgh goes by Mario Lemieux, his 2nd, Max Talbot his 3rd, Ryan Malone his 9th, and Crosby is 21st. Like, guys, like, freaking scoring left, right, and center. St. Louis goes Joel Myers his 4th, Scott Young his 14th, and then Myers his 5th. Series tied at 2. And an overtime heroics by St. Louis as Lalime came in net and runs himself to 5-0, beats Marc-Andre Fleury. Pittsburgh goals by Mario Lemieux and Eric Christensen, Kevin Dahlman, and Lee Stempniak. But in overtime, Tkachuk from Stempniak scores his 9th, and the Blues are 1 win away from being named the best of the worst, if you will. Will it happen? The answer is no, it won't. Pittsburgh wins 1-0 as Fleury beats Bakashawa, and Crosby has 20 seconds. So Marc-Andre Fleury's just been on fire. I know you want to see Game 7. Game 7? And it will be the Blues who win. Bakashawa beats Fleury, and the 2006 St. Louis Blues win the best of the worst, taking care of the 06 Penguins. 5-2. Pittsburgh was up 2-0. Ouellette and Leclaire. But St. Louis goes by Lee Stempniak, Dennis Weidman, Lee Stempniak, Scott Young, and then Scott Young iced it, and the Blues win the series in 7 games and will be named the best of the worst. I mean, they did great. St. Louis, it was tight. It was weird. They went through a 4-game series against Kansas City, a 5-game series against Montreal, a 6-game series against Columbus, and then a 7-game series against Pittsburgh. So they went through the sequential 4, 5, 6, 7. Scott Young kind of the hero, but hey, Lalime and Sanford were combined 11-1. So, you know, if you had those two goalies in net, and there was randomization. So that's it. So the winners of this tournament, well, the winners are the 06 St. Louis Blues. So thanks for watching. It's been fun. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.